I'm a software engineer at Capital One. I've been there for around a year and a half now. I work on the website, so in front-end development. I'm on a grad scheme, so I rotate around the company. I work on lots of different areas. I'm currently working on back-end services involving like credit card transactions and interesting things like that. I arrived there through an internship. So my tutor suggested I did an internship. I had a look around, and Capital One were hiring. I really enjoyed my time there. They offered me a job, so I then decided to go back on a graduate placement. So that's how I ended up there, and I'm really enjoying it.
How did your physics degree help you in your job?
Yeah, so there's so much more to software than writing code, and one of the things that's very valuable is being able to solve problems using other people's solutions. So for instance, in a physics exam, you don't necessarily find new equations. You use existing equations and you piece them together, and you use that to find solutions to problems. The same is true when we write code. We get other people's packages, we inner source, and we use things that other people have made, and we piece those together to solve solutions. We're not necessarily writing fresh code every time. Lots of things have already been done, and that ability of problem solving and piecing things together that we gain as physics students is a skill that's really valuable in the software industry, and I think that's why physics students are quite attractive to employers that are applying for software jobs.
Danny, could you tell us about any other professional qualities that may be important to your employer on top of problem solving?
So I think just the skill of being able to visualize problems. One of the things we do in physics is we get equations and they represent physical things that are happening. In software it's exactly the same, where we have big projects there are so many moving parts, and one of the first things you need to do is kind of look at the project and kind of build a mental picture of what's going on and how everything kind of hangs together. And that skill I think is very important when it comes to software. Being able to visualize a problem and then explain your thinking and how your approach to solving that to other people as well. And there's also the project management side of things. So we do a lot of projects in physics, and being able to organize that well is a very key skill that software engineers benefit from. Another quality that physics students just tend to have is just perseverance. There are some very tricky problems in physics, and just the drive to solve those and work at those and arrive at solutions is very desirable as an employee. So I think those are things that lend well.
Great. Thank you very much. If you think back about your time at the university, can you tell that you had a clear idea where you'd like to move professionally, or was it more or less an exploration?
It wasn't clear-cut for me. So when I arrived at university, I wanted to be a teacher, and I did an internship in a school, and I just decided it wasn't for me. And I think that's a valuable lesson to learn. You're allowed to dislike things.
Yes.
And doing that internship then gave me the opportunity to say, I don't like that, I'm going to explore other areas. And that's when I found software engineering and decided this is for me and why I still do it today. And people think, oh, you didn't go into education, you don't get to teach anymore. But I still get my teaching fix. I still get to teach people every day. There are skills that I have that people need to learn. There are new employees constantly, and they all need to learn the ways of working of our specific company. And I love teaching them, and I really enjoy that process. So I still get my fix for teaching, even though I'm not a teacher. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. I'm very lucky.
Thank you very much. You were also our careers representative at your time at the university. So can you tell us what kind of engagement you had with the careers events here? So specific things that you tried, and how then that helped you to figure what you'd like to do professionally?
Yeah, I think the key thing is to just try as many different subjects as possible, because I didn't know what I wanted to do after I decided teaching wasn't for me. And so the careers events where people come in and speak from all different industries that had physics backgrounds, it was really quite inspiring to see the different opportunities and the different doors that I could open. And so going to those events where external people come in and talk about, that alumni come in and talk about what they did and how they ended up there. It's really nice to see. I can see myself in them quite well, and how I could possibly go down a similar path. I think the careers events definitely help kind of frame physics students as that sometimes it feels as though you have to go into academia, and it's nice to see, because I knew that wasn't for me, and it's nice to see other options, and those are really well presented when alumni come in.
Thanks, and maybe to wrap up, would you have any tips, any piece of advice for the students who are now doing their degree?
Yeah, so the biggest piece of advice I wish I could have given myself, either before university or in first year, was to learn to write code. I find it an incredibly useful tool, regardless of which domain I'm working in. There are packages in Python that can solve symbolic math, that can do physics equations, and to a point it almost feels like cheating. It makes things so much easier when you're writing code, that you can solve equations that would otherwise take 2 pages and things like that. Obviously I always checked them by hand, but it was typically me that was wrong and not the computer. So it's a very useful skill to have, and I think once you've learned in any language, once you've got the fundamentals down, it opens many doors, and it's a really valuable skill.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Danny. Thanks.